Welcome to the Empleco HR Chat. I'm Rob Wilson, and with me is Jason Eisenhunt, Vice President of HR.
Hi, everyone.
So, thanks for joining us for this week's HR Chat. So, Jason, one of the things that we've been watching over the last several months has been the proposed new Department of Labor's new overtime rules and increase in wages. And we're getting closer and closer. We expected something by now, so really any time. And when it does come, it'll be enacted pretty quickly.
Yeah, within 60 days, right?
So what's on the table right now? So a little background: up until the end of President Obama's term, it was in the 23,000, and he proposed going up to
47,000.
47.
Yep.
Jason's better with the data, and it got struck down just a month before. So a lot of companies had already gone through that exercise of looking at adjustments and stuff. And so then during President Trump's term, it was increased up to 35,000.
Yep.
So the new rule right now that's being proposed
would increase that to 55,000. So these numbers we're talking about is a salary threshold for employees to be automatically eligible for overtime. So employees today who are earning under 35,000, it doesn't matter if you call them a manager or what kind of duties they have, they're automatically, so if someone's paid $31,000 a year, even if they're a manager and have supervisory responsibilities, they're automatically going to be eligible for overtime, and you should be tracking their hours, and if they're paid over 40, they get time and a half. So the new proposed rule, or the final rule that'll be coming out soon, will say, okay, if that person is paid under 55,000, so it'll increase substantially. So there's going to be a whole new group of employees between 35,000 a year to 55,000 a year that could become eligible for overtime. So you really want to kind of get a good idea of who these people are right now to see, okay, do we have any people who are classified as exempt from overtime, salaried, between 35 and 55,000, that if this new rule comes out as we expect at 55,000, these people at 45 or 50,000 annual salary will automatically become eligible for overtime, and we need to start tracking their hours? Or do we increase their pay to 56,000, 57,000 to keep them at exempt and not eligible for overtime?
Yeah, that's a big issue when you look at that. That's a pretty solid jump. And one of the things that we talked about a bit earlier as we were walking through the topic is this assumes that the DOL doesn't say, well, because of inflation, we want to make it even a higher number.
It'd be 60, right? That's a good point.
And do you think it will be less than the 55?
I don't. I think my opinion, it'll be right around that $55,000 mark that they had proposed.
And so at that level, anybody less than that, you really have to start tracking hours, regardless salary or not salary. Like in our system, even if someone's salaried, we'll be tracking hours.
Yeah, so and
pay overtime.
And there's timekeeping systems you can put in. So hopefully, if you already have one for your hourly employees, you're going to maybe change some of these employees between 35 and 55,000 to hourly and non-exempt, and start tracking their hours, even if they have supervisory responsibilities. But if they're working over 40 hours, there could be a financial burden on your company to start paying them overtime, especially if they're working 45, 50, 60 hours a week in retail or restaurant, some of these industries that do typically require that.
Right, back in the retail and restaurants was a big area where back when it was in the 20s, 23,000, you'd make that person a manager, and then you're not paying them overtime, you pay them a bonus, but it's not that doesn't become very feasible at 55,000.
Right.
Yeah. So you're really tracking. You have to start tracking hours.
Yeah, and hr@empleco.com is our email address. So if you have any questions, we got a nice, helpful checklist and some guidance. And then when it does become the final law, we'll be sending something out through our newsletter. Also, let us know, hr@empleco.com, if you'd like to subscribe to it. But we send out some of these HR insight articles and checklists to help you kind of navigate that. And we're always here to help, too, if we want to talk to a live person instead of an 800 number.
Yeah, our newsletter, Jason creates the topics, and Jackson on our marketing team makes it all look good, and then it comes out usually around the 15th of the month or so.
Right.
So, but usually have some great HR tips in there.
Thank you.
So if you want to subscribe to that, just shoot us an email at hr@empleco.com. So thanks for joining us, and we should hear, it should be any time, and like you said, when it does go, when it is finally approved, it goes into force 60 days later.
Yeah, it'll be a pretty quick turnaround.
Right. So, but thanks for joining us.
Thank you.